Hello, let's try again. This is Lorena S Gomez, and we're back to keep and the stories to tell, to learn, right? And because it's Christmas, we have so many things to share, right? Um, we have been talking, right, in regards of certain stories that have happened to people, which give us the opportunity to learn in order to improve our lives or to learn and how to do or go. Estamos diciendo que somos el IPU y Lorena S Gomez y hablamos, contamos historias para aprender y tomando en cuenta que es Navidad hay muchas historias que contar para utilizarlas, para aprender, para mejorar nuestra forma de vivir. Y me regalaron, me dieron una, hace 10 días que comenzaron las gentes a celebrar el nacimiento de Cristo. Anunciaron su nacimiento y hoy anunciaron su completa venida a la tierra. Yeah. It's been already, I have somebody give me this drink. It's champagne. Es champaña, right? Y para celebrar el nacimiento de Cristo, celebrate the birth of Christ, and it's been already 10 days since they started announcing the birth of Christ, and today Christ is born. Y hoy Cristo nació y las 9 días, 10 días de fiesta. Mucha gente tiene mucha alegría. A lot of people are very happy because of it. Por eso, ¿verdad? Y yo quiero brindar, and I want to cherish, right? And share my happiness with all of you, knowing that Christ was born in a day like this in the town of Bethlehem. Right. It's a very nice story, right? How the Star of David shined above, where all the forces of Mother Nature were able to obey and announce, and eventually, in the company of the beings made by the Lord, were announcing to come over and adore. What do they say adore, right? They say adore because when people are together, right? Like we were talking in regards of Adam and Eve, how eventually when they went out from the Eden, how much they need each other, right? And how much they were interested in hiding, right, in each other also. And this is a step to, you can notice that people will be in love, right? Where the Lord is there because His commands were to follow, and where all these intruders were beating both of them, right? Y decimos que es muy interesante saber de la adoración, ¿verdad? Cómo este ángel en el cielo y las fuerzas de la naturaleza, ¿verdad? Hicieron brillar la estrella anunciando, y todos los seres que Dios hizo, ¿verdad? Invitando a las personas que vinieran a adorar. Y nos vamos otra vez, ¿verdad? Con Adán, donde la adoración, ¿verdad? Viene en como ellos fueron puestos fuera de Edén, se necesitaron demasiado, ¿verdad? Donde quisieron esconderse uno dentro del otro, ¿verdad? Como the Lord had said, right, that Eve was a rib of Adam, right? And it was there to be hugged, it was there probably to be hidden, it was there to really um, just be strong and give strength and be able to 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 help one with the other, right? And to to move on in the life they have to live ahead, right? And that's how the love were born in in both of them, right? Y así fue como el amor nació en ellos, right? And as they know how much they needed each other, right? This love and care for each other becomes a feeling, se convierte en un sentimiento which cannot be departed from you, right? Que no puede estar separado de ti. And therefore, to come and adore, right, is to come and find out really who the Lord is, right? Because the Lord, as the Lord commanded them to walk away, because everything was over, right? In the Eden, como les dijo que se salieran para afuera porque ella no estaba, ya todo estaba acabado. El Señor comandó, right? And the Lord was the Lord of their lives, right? Y Dios era, siempre fue el amor de su vida. And this kind of love and this kind of need to hang around and to know that it's there for you and to know that you owe respects, right? And that you love, because the love exists, and that's some sort of adoration, right? Therefore the Lord comes in order to adore him. It means that is the Lord, right? In the form of Son, which comes to this earth to be gathering everybody's, right, in order to, so whoever believes and accepts the Lord and repent from all the wrong things they do and request assessment and training to live a better life from the Lord, right? This is a way, right, for the forgiveness of our sins, so the Lord can do his way on us, his will on us, and to have an assessment and to provide training for us to live a better life, right, with him, right? Decimos que el Señor entonces, ¿verdad? Siendo el amor de su vida, el gran amor de su vida, Dios les dice que salgan para afuera. Y viene en forma de niño, right? Donde no se puede olvidar este amor por el Creador, right? Que ha venido en forma de niño, en forma de ser humano, para que el que quiera arrepentirse sea, ¿verdad? Porque Dios le dio el derecho. The Lord gave to Adam the will of decide and choose, and to choose things with all the consequences, right? Y Dios le dio a Adán, ¿verdad? La oportunidad, ¿verdad? Those are privileges, right? Son privilegios de escoger, ¿verdad? And to be able to make decisions, hacer decisiones, ¿verdad? Con todas las consecuencias que hayan salido. And to love the Lord, it has a good fruit. Y querer a Dios tiene siempre muy buen fruto, ¿verdad? Por eso celebramos, and that's the reason we celebrate the birth of Christ, el nacimiento de Cristo, right? And we join all the people from all over the world, the Pope, with all the priesthood, right? And all the chosen people, right? and we ask the Lord to forgive our sins, to do His will on us, and to provide some training to live a better life, right? And that's why we pursue education in order to have training in some disciplines where we can be admiring, right, the human mind, and to be able to train the person, the mind, and disciplines to make to make money, right, in order to supply with the things that are needed along their lives, right? And this way to live a peaceful life, respectful life, and to be able to invest with the ones who pursue the same things, right? Y para entrenar la persona, la mente de la gente, ¿verdad? Para producir dinero, ¿verdad? E invertir con las personas que también tengan los mismos intereses, right? Hoy, en un día como hoy, in a day like this, there was a gentleman, era un muchacho, which had his parents, que tenía sus papás, and this couple, esta pareja, they were investing internationally, estaban invirtiendo internacionalmente, and they decided to hang around in another country to invest. Y decidieron quedarse un tiempo en un país para invertir. And eventually, as as they went to find customers and to um, bring the items to probably to make the same products and where they want to live, y probablemente atraer los productos que querían ellos hacer o manufacturar en el país donde ellos estaban. Esta pareja, ¿verdad? Se fueron cada quien a buscar su inversión. Both of them went their separate ways to make their own investments, right? They have nothing to do. Y no tenían que ver nada, right, at the beginning, al principio. But it happens that, y lo que pasó fue que en cierta ocasión, certain groups of people, ciertos grupos de gentes meet, right? Se encontraron varios grupos, in where they saw each other, en donde se vieron, and they sit down with a lot of people to talk about so many things, and eventually, as they were gathering, the catering service came, and a lot of people were able to eat, but the food was not enough. So eventually, they gathered together. The people who didn't have food and stuff like that dismissed earlier to go and join a huge restaurant which had a very very good service, right? Se fueron los que no alcanzaron a comer, ¿verdad? Porque todos comieron con el servicio parcialmente. Y once when they got there in the restaurant, right? Most of the people left, right? Casi toda la gente se fue where both of them, donde ellos dos, finally they were left behind. Se quedaron, ¿verdad? And since they found each other around there, they came back home, but not right away. O sea, no se vinieron luego. They went to drink and they celebrate their business. When eventually this lady, as the man left, he left for 10 minutes to make phone calls and things like those, and this lady, she fell asleep in the table, right? And when he came back, probably it was already late, and she was very exhausted because she was working late all the time, and he helped her out to go back home, and probably because the gentleman was drunk and she was drunk, the man took advances on her, and she was not able to wake up like in 2-3 days because probably she drank too much, and this gentleman, he was the same way, right? So after like a half a year, he was noticing that she was making a lot of profits, probably more than he. And this um, lady was worried about her health, and eventually she trusted him and confessed him that she was expecting a child, right? And where he eventually said to her, "Don't worry about it. I will give him my name," right? And so, in this way, um, the 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 lady got the baby. They went to get married, right? And he took her to a jewelry, and she got the set of rings, and they went to have a small meeting with some important people. And eventually she got the baby, and the baby really didn't look like the gentleman, right? And it reminds her that she looked probably the same like the baby, but it was really hard to believe that it was her face, right? Still, she was not able to care for the baby where she was living, and she took the baby to be seen with some nannies and special places, where she was going only a month, once a month, because she was really busy and she was really working on her projects, right? And the gentleman, he was the one who didn't really show up to see, and she didn't say anything, and the gentleman left the city, and she eventually took off later, and they came back, right, and took the baby and got a picture and a passport to take the baby, and they failed to take the baby with them. And so they kept the baby with these people, right? um, and the gentleman was really uninterested in the child because for whatever reasons, right? And she eventually talked to the head of this place where the babies were cared, and it was a one very holy man, right? And she talked to him and confessed that probably she'll care for the boy, right? Because the man who gave the name to the boy was not really um, his father, right? Because she didn't know whatever happened to her. And the man said you have to be strong in cases like this, and really I need to talk to the gentleman, right? And eventually she asked the gentleman to go and talk to this holy man. Estamos diciendo que la muchacha eventualmente puso el bebé a que lo cuidaran, ¿verdad? Iba una vez al mes para proveerle, ¿verdad? Tuviera sus cosas, pero que el señor que le había dado el nombre desconoció la paternidad porque no se parecía para nada a él. Entonces, él, si realmente, ¿verdad? Cuando habló el Señor Santo, ¿verdad? Le dijo que él no creía que la mujer no había tenido nada que ver con nadie. Entonces, esta mujer habló con el hombre santo, ¿verdad? Un hombre santo que era el jefe de este departamento que cuidaba niños, y le dijo que ella hubiera querido que el Señor, ¿verdad? Hubiera estado por ahí, pero parecía que no lo reconocía. Y después regresaron los dos, ¿verdad? Y pusieron al niño en el pasaporte, pero fallaron en probar que era hijo de los dos, ¿verdad? Entonces, él era un holy man, ¿verdad? Era un señor santo que se dedicaba a dirigir el área, y hizo una entrevista con el supuesto padre, ¿verdad? This holy man have an interview with the gentleman and asked him whatever happened. You don't come to see your child. You don't come to see your children, right? Your child. Y le dijo, es que I don't believe that I am his father. Right? Yo no creo que yo pueda ser su papá. And whatever happened to her, it happens, right, uh, once and twice, and probably with different people, and the child doesn't really look like me, like you can tell. Le dijo, en el negocio que anda ella, suceden muchas cosas y la verdad, yo no, como puede ver, el niño no se parece a mí, right? And then the lady, when they came back and they failed to take the baby and to prove that it was theirs, right? Cuando ellos regresaron y no pudieron probar que el niño era suyo, el hombre se fue, el papá del niño se fue, the dad left first and then she left after them. And she provided money to keep the baby permanently wherever he was. Y le dio dinero al Holy Man, ¿verdad? Al hombre santo, para que lo mantuviera permanentemente ahí. And he was happy. He was growing with some other children, and they were learning the, the, um, the language very well. Él estaba feliz con otros niños y aprendían la lengua. When one of the ladies who was around noticed that none of the children were left to give him company, right? Cuando una de las que se quedaron ahí, una de las últimas empleadas during holidays, en los días de fiesta, había notado que no había nadie, ni un niño, todos se habían ido para su casa, ¿verdad? And therefore she had to leave too, y ella también se tenía que ir, so she went to talk to this holy man, y ella fue a hablar con el Señor y le dijo, why don't you take the child so you can put him to where you are, so you can use it in the churches, right? Que porque no se lo llevaba para que lo pusiera a trabajar en la iglesia, because a lot of children are needed in there, right? Porque muchos niños están necesitados por ahí. And the gentleman said that it was fine, right? El Señor le dijo que estaba bueno. So the child hung around and he played with the children from the church, and he was fine when he found out, and he had an idea to probably just change the name of the boy and allow the boy to live as a member of any kind of family. And he really asked everybody if they would love to have a child like that, right? Y él le preguntó, ¿verdad? Con mucho cariño a las personas que si les gustaría tener a ese niño antes de que creciera más, ¿verdad? Before he was growing up, right? And they were saying that they didn't have enough resources for more members in their families. Y le dijeron que ellos no tenían dinero para tener más miembros en su familia. And he remember, y se acordó that he once knew this gentleman, que él había hablado con un hombre, that he was highly risk investor, que era un inversionista de alto riesgo, and that he was sometimes, because around their families had so many children, porque alrededor de su familia, con los suyos, ellos producían muchos niños, that sometimes when their parents were not coming back, cuando a veces sus padres no regresaban, that they gathered together all the children and used the oldest girls, the oldest ladies, the ones who were not able to hear very well, the ones who were not able to see very well, right? Y estos inversionistas de alto riesgo, tenían hábito de hacer grupos, ¿verdad? Cuando las muchachas se quedaban sin sus maridos porque no regresaban a la casa. And then ellos usaban a las mujeres, ¿verdad? Que no podían ver bien, las mujeres que no podían oír bien, to keep eye on the children, para poder cuidar los niños. And he was thinking that probably the boy could make it in a better way like that to keep with this faith, right, that these parents gave to him, right? Y decía que lo mejor era mejor que él siguiera su camino que andar persiguiendo a esos dos seres, ¿verdad? And eventually he talked to the gentleman, and then this holy man talked to the man, to the high risk inversionist, right, investor. And he said, I'm so glad to help you out with something like that because I had like 4 children, right? Ya me da mucho gusto ayudarte con eso porque tengo 4 niños and I really have one lady, right? Y tengo una mujer which is not, can see very well, que no puede ver muy bien, and she's just the perfect lady you need. Y dijo, ella es la mujer que tú necesitas. And eventually, this lady was talking to the priest all the time, and she was giving money, right, to the priest to provide to this lady and the boy, right. Y la mujer le mandaba dinero al padre para poder proveer para el niño, and she never came back. Y la mujer nunca regresó. Pues she was providing money, pero ella estaba mandando dinero. And the priest got very ill, and he told the lady to change the names of all the children and the age and everything. Y le dijo a la mujer que fuera y le cambiara los nombres a todos los niños y les cambiara las fechas de nacimiento, because something good will happen, porque algo bueno iba a pasar, ¿verdad? And eventually, this gentleman passed away. El señor santo se murió, ¿verdad? And all the information in regards to the lady and all the identity of this boy, it was really in the past, right? Dijo que toda la identidad de este muchacho, y todo lo que era de él, que había quedado en el pasado. The boy will never remember anything, and who was the lady, and because she was really far away from him. Y que él no se iba a acordar porque la mujer realmente no compartió su vida para nada, ¿verdad? Y el padre menos, y el papá tampoco. Then this boy, once that he found out that he was on his own because the priest passed away. The priest inherit to the lady and to all these boys money, right? And the house where they were living, right? It belonged to her and the boys. And the boy grew up, and he was eventually asked to help this lady who needed help with the apartments, right? Y a él lo pidieron para que ayudara con unos apartamentos. He went to help the lady, right? And he was very good student. He eventually had scholarships all the time. Y el muchacho tenía becas todo el tiempo. Because the priest was promoting the boy. Porque el holy man, ¿verdad? Este hombre santo promovía a la criatura para que fuera un ser humano, ¿verdad? Ejemplar. And this boy grew up and helped this lady, and until he was able to put savings to go to school and finish some profession, some degree, ¿verdad? Y este muchacho ahorró dinero para acabar la carrera. And eventually this lady passed away. Entonces la señora se murió, ¿verdad? And the children came to inherit wherever that it was belonged to her, right? Y vinieron sus hijos, ¿verdad? Para heredar todo lo que había de la mujer que era dueña de los apartamentos, ¿verdad? De los cuartos de renta. And the boys asked if he was interested in purchasing the property, right? Y los muchachos le preguntaron que si quería él comprar las propiedades, and the gentleman said that he was interested in really pursue some degrees, and he was really ready to go if they were interested to please do not sell just because they want to depart and very cheap, to really collect the money that is worth it, because that place had plenty of customers coming all the time, asking for apartments for rent, and it was really, they had 20 years, 10 years where they were coming back and forth, looking for houses, and they were always occupied. And then this gentleman sold the property and gave some money to the boy, right? Entonces este muchacho vendió la propiedad y le dieron dinero al muchacho, and the boy left and went to the medical school, y se fue a la escuela de medicina. And applied to medical school and got into medical school, and he was doing very good up to the second year, hasta el segundo año, when they have problems with the devaluation of their monies, right, in the country. Cuando se devalúa la moneda, and then he is forced to go back to work, y él se ve forzado en irse otra vez a trabajar for a little bit more, y se ve otra vez where he comes back. Cuando él regresa, he comes back, and he he gets himself enrolled in the semester, right? Se enrola otra vez en el semestre, se inscribe en el semestre. When this hurricane come in, right? Cuando un huracán hits the city, right? Un huracán invade toda la ciudad, and for 15 days without stopping the rain, como por 15 días sin dejar de llover, and where the school gets damaged, donde la escuela se daña, and all the water was infiltrating in between the walls, donde el agua se infiltró entre las paredes, damaging the mother computer, donde se dañó la computadora madre. And it was November, almost beginning of December, very close to Christmas, when only one discipline he had to have in order to have the report, in order to register himself for the next semester, right? And he found out that he was missing one discipline, right? And he went to talk to the secretary, and the secretary said that really there was not much to do, that he had to come back in 90 days because the computer was damaged, and but not just that, right? That you had to have a dean to come over and sign, and the gentleman was not available, and that the only way it was just to talk to the instructor. And he went to look for the instructor, and the instructor told him that he will see, right? And eventually he waited a couple of days, and he found out that he didn't do anything. The instructor actually was a student working on the specialty, and he was busy, and he also was worried about the same things the student from the lower level was, right? Y este estudiante se dio cuenta que su profesor, ¿verdad?, también estudiaba la especialidad, y que él también tenía problemas con sus grados, tratando de encontrar cómo acomodarlos, ¿verdad?, a su tiempo. And eventually he went to talk to him, right? Y volvió a ir otra vez a hablar con el profesor, y le dijo que era muy importante para él tener sus cosas juntas. Y le dijo, well, as you know, right? Como tú sabes, everything's going to be again after 90 days. Todo se va a volver a hacer otra vez en 90 días. The school is going to open the doors in another more 90 days because there is shortcuts on the floors, and on all the floors. Porque hay cortocircuito en todos los niveles, right? And therefore we're not allowed to go into the school. Y no podemos entrar a la escuela. Entonces, this gentleman said that don't worry about it, you eventually will make it, right? But since the student it was insisting that something can be something, that it was not his fault that all these things happened, that even the discipline he was teaching, he had already completed, right? And that it was very important for him to provide a grade, right? Y le dijo que that was it, that he didn't have nothing else to talk to him, and he terminated the conversation, and left the gentleman. Y dice que este señor le dijo, ¿verdad?, porque le decía al muchacho que no era su culpa que haya pasado todo eso, y que como ella presentó esa disciplina, y como él aprobó y tiene todos sus grados, que él piensa que no es justo, ¿verdad?, que le debe de dar sus grados de alguna manera. And the gentleman le dijo que ya era suficiente, y que ella no necesitaba estar hablando con él, y que ahí lo dejó, ahí se retiró y se fue. Then he went back to the office, and there was an announcement in the door He said if the temperature goes below 17 degrees, this office is going to remain closed until further notice, right? Si la temperatura baja mucho, esta oficina va a estar cerrada hasta que baje, hasta que suba, ¿verdad? Hasta otra, ¿verdad? Hasta que se anuncie otra vez que se va a abrir. Entonces el muchacho se quedó ahí, ¿verdad? For 2 days, he was just right by, and until he saw that this secretary was coming over, right? Y vio que la secretaria se metió para la oficina and left the door open. Y la puerta se quedó abierta because she really pushed the door, right? Ella realmente empujó la puerta and she was not able to close it y no la pudo cerrar, right? It was damaged already, estaba dañada, but for the same reason, por la misma razón. And therefore he took advantage to get into the place y se metió, ¿verdad? And he said, excuse me, ma'am. He said, oh, I think that I wrote a notice in the door. Y le dijo, oh, disculpe, parece que está un anuncio en la puerta. He said, yes, but I have been looking for somebody around to really help me out with this. I am a student and I have already passed all my disciplines and I need to have the letter in order to turn them in to update my student loans, right? And since I have already passed all of them and it's not my fault or somebody had to do something about it, right? Y dijo, yo soy una persona que ya pasó las disciplinas y yo pienso que es mi derecho, ¿verdad? Tener las cosas listas. Tiene que haber algo que se pueda hacer. And in that time, en ese momento, this dean was walking in. Este dean estaba también entrando because the security has announced that the door was not able to close, right? Le anunciaron que la puerta no se podía cerrar. And he had to come over to the office. Y él tenía que venir. When he walked into the office y se metió para la oficina, and the secretary told this gentleman, wait for me, let me go and talk to this dean, right? Digo, espérame, déjame ir a hablar con este dean. And she started talking and she explained to the dean whatever happened, and he was saying that really what happened is that he's not served because he stopped his training, right? And the traditional instructors usually just count the list from all the people from the same generation, and they are the ones who usually have their grades on times, right? Just to provide them some encouragement to keep up and not abandon the classes, right? So which means that this gentleman has been stereotyped with the ones who just don't want to come to school. And he checked the records and he saw in fact that he was great and he had the best references, like nobody ever had the references where all these people were asking not to drop them in, not to always help him out as much as possible and to really help him out to graduate, because he was the effort of many teachers, of many instructors, and also the savings of all the citizens who put together their pennies in order, right, to make the community to develop and have good citizens and have good people, and to make out of each one of the people in that area model citizens, right? And that he was showing all the time that he was excellent, and his ethics were great, and he was an excellent team worker, and this and that and that. Que le habían dado las mejores referencias al muchacho, lo checó el dean, que tenía los grados excelentes y que le pedían por favor que asistiera al muchacho en todo lo posible, porque el muchacho era el producto del trabajo de muchos maestros, que era el producto de muchos ahorros, de mucha cooperación de las comunidades que ponen sus dineros para que se transforme la gente en ciudadanos capaces. Yeah. And there, this gentleman was moved, and he said, let me talk to the gentleman. Y el señor dice, déjame hablar con este muchacho, but before, bring me the old forms that we had the old reports that we used to use, right? Y le dijo, dame, antes de que, háblale al muchacho, pero antes tráeme las hojas que usábamos antes, las que eran a mano, right? La muchacha fue y trajo las formas y se las dio y le dijo al muchacho que pasara a hablar con él y trajera su portafolio que tenía con su backpack y todos los grados y todo lo que traía para que se lo mostrara. And he had to bring the backpack with him along with the portfolio that he had, a briefcase with all the information it required in order to provide the paperwork he needed. And the gentleman greet the student, right? Y el dean le saludó bien, con mucho respeto. He said, I would like to apologize for these mistakes, right? Y le quiero pedir disculpas por estos errores, but really things happen, right? Because these people are traditionalists. Ellos son instructores tradicionalistas y pero vamos a poner aquí las cosas que necesita. We're going to put together all the things you have to have. And the dean finished all the paperwork and he took his paperwork with him, right? Y el muchacho se llevó todos sus papeles, el señor hizo todo el documento, right? And he really enjoys his Christmas, right? Él realmente disfrutó de su Navidad, right? He was really faithful that he could provide all this paperwork on time. Y él tenía mucha fe que él podía poner todas estas cosas juntas, right? He turned all the paperwork it was required y él puso todos los documentos necesarios and everything was ready to start the semester y él estaba listo para comenzar el semestre, right? Pero es that he did something about it. Pero es que él hizo algo al respecto. The 90% of all the students went back home. El 90% de todos los estudiantes se fueron a su casa to come back after 90 days. Y iban a regresar en 90 días. And the life of somebody, la vida de alguien, is not going to change if it's not done. If something is not done. La vida de alguien no se puede cambiar si no se hace algo al respecto. People have to move. La gente tiene que moverse. People have to do different things. La gente tiene que hacer diferentes cosas. And to have faith. Y tener fe. That all the things are going to come out right. Que las cosas van a salir bien. Because the Lord is the one who owns everything. Porque Dios es el que es dueño de todo. And only He knows to whom He wants to give what. Solamente Dios es dueño de todo y Él sabe a quién le va a dar qué. And meanwhile you ask to the Lord y mientras le pides a Dios and then you do your part y tú haces lo que te corresponde, then you can be very successful y vas a hacer y alcanzar el éxito. En a Christmas like this, en unas Christmas como estas, this gentleman, ese hombre, ese caballero, made his life turn around, hizo que su vida cambiara for good, para bien, in order to keep up, para poder ser a good and model citizen, para ser un bueno y un modelo y un ciudadano modelo. Let us just keep up with all these good stories. Vamos a tener un poquito más de estas historias. So by telling stories, we learn. Diciendo historias, podamos nosotros aprender. I wish you the best. Le deseo lo mejor. The birth of Christ brings a lot of love, right? Que el amor de Dios le traiga amor, hope, esperanza. Esas es the Lord. Y como es Dios, made man, hecho hombre, which has come, que ha venido to us, a nosotros, right? Let us enjoy it and we'll be back. Let us come back later, right? Let us come back later with a little bit more stories And meanwhile, let us enjoy our dinner. Have a good night.